What is going on there, YouTube? This is Gavin72 speaking, and welcome back for another video. And this time it's going to be a lasers and VHS update for December 29th, 2018. And this is going to be my only update for this entire year because right now I got something to say for you guys. Sorry, I did apologize for the delay. Is that because I had to save up as much money as I could so I can be able to start focusing on buying a new car. And also, one last thing, before I start this video, is that because I've been working, quite a bit, so, because trying to raise more money as well, because right now I've been receiving more SSI payments just recently, and also spending as much money as I could so I can be able to start making insurance payments on the car itself. I was trying to give you guys a heads up as well. So anyways guys, let's get this started. First off with, we got Alien. This is the THX certified copy. This is a widescreen release, of course. It's still a good movie nonetheless. Next, Lionheart with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Still a good martial arts film nonetheless, but still a great classic. And next up, we got Star Trek First Contact. Saw this on VHS plus because I had this movie on VHS plus it was snapped quite a bit, so I decided to pick up the lasers of Star Trek First Contact. And it was in widescreen. It is THX certified. Because decided to get this. I got this for free. Alongside with Alien and Lionheart. By the way, decided to get this because I got this for free because I am a Trekkie right now of nowadays. Of course. Next, Double Jeopardy. This is a Showtime original movie, of course. So I had to grab this, by the way. And next up, Double Impact with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Still a good martial arts film, nonetheless. Still a great classic, of course. And next up, Out for Justice with Steven Seagal. Decided to get this because I am a huge Seagal fan, of course. Plus, I got a bunch of Seagal titles and will be shown in a little bit, of course. Next up, Theater, underrated thriller in my opinion. Plus, I have this on VHS. Plus, I got rid of it just to upgrade this to lasers. Plus, it's on X rental version, by the way. If you're trying to be as curious as possible. Next up, Mask of Zorro with Antonio Banderas and Anthony Hopkins. Still a great classic film, which Steven Spielberg serves as an executive producer of. Still a great classic, still a great movie. This is probably one of the very last Columbia TriStar home entertainment titles ever to first come out on lasers, of course. And next up, The Andromeda Strain. Still a classic film nonetheless. Still great fun to watch. Sci-fi adventure film, of course. Decided to pick up this one. And next up, Varsity Blues with James Vanderbeek and John Voight. It has late Paul Walker in it, so decided to get this because this is probably the last Paramount Pictures home entertainment titles ever that was come out on lasers. The one of them is being South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, Bring Out the Dead, of course, and Sleeping Hollow, by the way. I decided to get this because I got rid of the VHS just to pick up the lasers release that film, of course. Next, Under Siege with Steven Seagal. Still a fun, a classic action adventure film of co-starring Tom Lee Jones as one of the bad guys throughout the film itself, of course, as you may notice. Next up, A Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and still classic film nonetheless. I have seen this movie on TV, plus still a great film by director Ivan Reitman, of course. And let's move on to the other discs, where I picked up just recently, of course. For just 1 second. Just take my time, folks. Damn it. Hold on. Just 1 second. Hold on. Finally. Come on. Okay, let's continue. Next up, Unlawful Entry with Kurt Russell, Ray Liotta, and Madeline Stowe. A classic crime thriller nonetheless. Next up, Notorious, a film by Alfred Hitchcock, which stars Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman. Still a classic film from the made by Hitchcock himself, of course. So I get this because I'm a huge fan of some of his films nonetheless. This is probably one of my first magnetic home entertainment title that I just picked up just recently, of course. So I get that. Next up, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I'm decided to get this, even though I am a huge fan of the Star Wars prequels, and that's why I had to get this movie on Laserdisc, of course. Here's the gatefold. just to let you see it. Even though it's the Japanese, I'm pressing, of course. And you only come in with, let me get this out. Hold on for just 1 second there. And they usually come in with, lobby cards. I'm gonna just want to show you based on what I've got so far. Next, Entrapment with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Sean Connery. Still an underrated action adventure film. It's probably one of the very last 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment titles ever to first come out on Laserdisc, by the way. So just to let you know. Next up, the next three are basically I got all three of the Die Hard films on Laserdisc. I'm gonna show you based on what I've got so far. I got because some of these movies are in widescreen, and we got the first film Die Hard with Bruce Willis, and this co-stars the late Alan Rickman, who also did pass away almost 2 years ago. He may rest in peace, of course. Decided to get these movies on Laserdisc because I'm a fan of the Die Hard series, of course. Got the first film as well. Here's the gatefold, just to let you know. Next, we got Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Ray Harlan directed this, plus still a good classic nonetheless. We got, and next up, Die Hard with Vengeance with, co-starring, this is the third film of the franchise, co-starring Samuel L. Jackson and Jeremy Irons, who is playing out known as the bad guy throughout the film itself. And another, gatefold, just to show you, based on what I got. Next up, Daylight with, Sylvester Stallone. It's probably the Universal Studios signature collection, that I just picked up just recently, of course. Decided to get this as well. And here's the gatefold, just to let you know. Next up, Father Can Talk. Father of the Bride, with Steve Martin and Diane Keaton and Martin Short. Still a fun movie to watch. It's probably the remake, the original film itself alone. And next up, I got Austin Powers and Spy Who Shagged Me on Laserdisc. I decided to get this because I also own all three of the, because I also do own the first two Austin Powers film on Laserdisc, plus also have, Gold Member on VHS, but that will shall be shown in part 2 of my update as well. Next up, Boomerang, still a fun movie starring Eddie Murphy. Still a fun movie nonetheless. Next up, Black Rain with Michael Douglas and Andy Garcia. Still a fun movie to watch. I decided to get this on Laserdisc because I've seen this movie before, but still a fun movie nonetheless. And here's the gatefold as well. Of course, decided to get this. Next up, Manhunter, which is basically the best adaptation of the Thomas Harris novel Red Dragon, because it also had the remake on VHS. That'll be shown in part 2 of my update. And next up, Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, which is basically one of Stanley Kubrick's best films that he did so far, which stars Peter Sellers and George C. Scott. Is probably the earliest films to star James Earl Jones. So just to let you know. Hold on for just 1 second. Next up, The Big Hit with Mark Wahlberg and Lou Diamond Phillips, by the way. Still a fun, a cheesy action-adventure film, nonetheless. Next up, we got... Hold on for just 1 second. Here we got Woody Woodpecker Collector's Edition Volumes 1 and 2. This is basically this is basically a cartoon compilation of some of the animated shorts released for Universal Studios Home Entertainment, but still a fun series of cartoons to watch nonetheless. Next up, The Dream Team with Michael Keaton, Christopher Lloyd, Pierre Boyle, and Stephen Furst. Still a fun movie nonetheless. 4 guys on a field trip to reality. Doesn't make no sense. Next up, Radioland Murders with Mary Stuart Marston and Brian Benben. Still a fun film for Star Wars fans too. Still, this movie's got bad reviews, of course. Plus, I'm still keeping it for my Universal Studios Home Entertainment Lasers collection, even though it's a THX certified disc. So just to let you know. Next up, Immediate Family with Glenn Close, James Woods, Mary Stuart Masterson, and James Dillon. It's one of my earliest discs I ever bought so far for this entire year. Next up, it's my second Magnetic Home Entertainment title that I ever bought. It's the A Golden Decade of College Football, 1970 through 1979, with Bill Fleming. Still basically a college football highlight video from the 1980s. This is basically some of the stuff from some of their NCAA football games. Of course, decided to get this because I'm a huge college football fan, and decided to get this on Laserdisc just for the fun of it. Next up, Fiddler on the Roof. Still a fun musical, but still a classic film by Norman Jewison. Decided to get this because still one of my favorite musicals as well. Next up, Biloxi Blues with Matthew Broderick. This is a film that Neil Simon wrote the screenplay for. He may rest in peace to Neil Simon. Still a fun movie nonetheless, and still a fun classic film. Of course, I decided to get this as an attempt to honor Neil Simon. Next up, Absence of Malice with Paul Newman and Sally Field. Still a fun movie nonetheless, but still doesn't matter which. I've not seen this movie in a long time, of course. Next up, Fried Green Tomatoes. Still a classic film, of course. Of course, still a classic film of the 90s. I got my favorite movie by James Cameron. I got the extended edition of The Abyss. Still a fun. This is the extended version. Plus, also had the original film on Laserdisc. Plus, it was shown on my previous update as well. Also had the original version, and this is the extended widescreen edition of The Abyss. I decided to get this film because this is one of my favorite James Cameron films, of course. One of these movies that I'm still hoping to get a Blu-ray release. Just for the fun of it. Next up, The Bridge on the River Kwai with Alec Guinness and Will Holden. That was basically one of the Columbia Pictures Award winner. It's part of their Studio Heritage collection. It's probably a rock. So I'd get this because it was a rot-free DDC title, and plus I just attested the disc, and I watched part of it just recently, but still a fun movie. Still a great classic film from the late 50s, of course. Next up, Flatliners with Keith Sutherland, Julia Roberts, and Kevin Bacon. A classic film nonetheless, and stay away from the remake itself alone. And that remake is extremely horrible, of course. Next up, A Dry White Season, which is one of several movies that didn't get a DVD release, but I'm still keeping it because it was a rare title, nonetheless. Next up, The Family Plot with the late Karen Black, and stars Bruce Dern, William Devane, and Barbara Harris. It's probably one of Hitchcock's last films that he did so far, before he passed away in 1980. So he rest in peace, of course. Next up, An Innocent Man with Tom Selleck. Still a great prison drama film, of course. I've seen this movie on VHS. Still a fun classic, nonetheless. I got School Ties with Brendan Fraser. Still a fun sort of sports drama film about the discrimination of white supremacy and the discrimination of Jews. Because when it's basically David Green, who is plays become the first Jewish player to play football for a Catholic school, and right now something's had happened to him and the only problem is because Matt Damon's character is calling him a Jew, and that he ends up discriminating discriminating on Brendan Fraser's character from the football team itself, of course. Next up, Mediterraneo, still a classic foreign language film. It's a foreign film from Italy, because it received an Academy Award win for it received an Oscar win for Best Foreign Language Film. Still a classic film, still a classic foreign film, nonetheless. Released through Touchstone and Miramax, of course. I got another one, which is like Water for Chocolate. This is basically a film by Alfonso Arau, but still good, classic Mexican film, released through Touchstone and Miramax titles. And next up, I got the Japanese ultra rare gold disc edition of Dirty Harry. Still a fun film, of course. Plus, I also had the North American release of that film on Laserdisc. Plus, I ended up getting two copies of that film, which is basically the American and Japanese pressing, of course. Decided to get this. Next up, The Longest Day, classic World War II film, of course, with a huge all-star cast, of course. Next up, Fahrenheit 451, classic adaptation of the Ray Bradbury novel, of course. And next up, Dirty Harry in Magnum Force. I'm excited to get the gold disc edition because I am still not getting the crappy pan scan release Magnum Force, because right now this copy is a very bad release, of course. Despite the fact the picture quality for that will basically get even worse. Next up, Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Summer Vacation. Still a classic film of my. I also like Tiny Toon Adventures, and this show is probably part of my childhood memories, of course. And decided to get this for the fun of it, of course. And of course, I also have the first season on. I also have Volume 1, Season 1 on DVD. Plus, it will be shown on my full version of my entire DVD collection. Plus, also have. I just ordered Volume 2, Season 1 on DVD, which she'll be coming in the mail sometime. I don't know for sure. Next up, National Lampoon's On Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase. So classic Christmas movie, of course. I'm gonna wait until like sometime next Christmas to be able to watch this movie alongside the first two films of the National Lampoon's Vacation series, which is basically a series of films which stars Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo, of course. And next year probably the Twilight Zone series. Plus, I also have box sets of the Twilight Zones right there. That'll be shown in a little bit, of course. We got Volume 1. This is some of the episodes are Nightmare at 20,000 Feet and The Odyssey of Flight 33, Steel, and A Game of Pool. Plus, I am hoping to get the complete series on DVD, of course. Plus, I am hoping to get the VHS tapes of the Twilight Zone series, of course. And we got Volume 2. It's basically one of these jacket series that I just picked up recently. And I just watched Volume 1, of course, and this is Volume 2, which is The Invaders, Nothing in the Dark, Time Enough at Last, The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, of course. The Twilight Zone is probably the best shows of the 60s, of course. It's the CBS original show, which I've seen countless times, of course. And next up, it's probably one of Seagal's first film that he starred in, Above the Law, of course. And his set. Oh my god, this is gonna fall. Next, Hard to Kill. Still a fun movie, of course. And even though Seagal's film turned out to be as fun as possible, decided to get them. Even though I'm a huge Seagal fan, of course. We got Marked for Death. Still basically, it's probably his the first the first 3 films that he co-starred in, of course. So I'd get these, just for the fun of it. And we got Midnight Run with Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin. Still a classic buddy cop comedy film, of course. I decided to get this on Laserdisc just for the fun of it, of course. And plus, I just got rid of the VHS tape because something's happening with the VHS tape because it has a huge manufacturer defect on the film strip itself, and probably the first two are basically some Japanese concert discs that I picked up recently. We also have Def Leppard, will be shown in a little bit. And we got Asia's Andromeda, Asia's Greatest Hits Live in Concert. This was recorded in Nottingham, England. But I enjoyed some of their music, of course. Plus, also have all 3 of their albums on vinyl. Plus, I have not gotten the CDs yet. Plus, I sold my music CDs just to make some more money for weekend plans, of course. And next up, Rosh, A Show of Hands. This is basically the Japanese pressing as well. I enjoy some of their music. Plus, I decided to get the Japanese pressing because it has the Obi sticker attached to it, by the way. Of course. Next up, Beverly Hills Cop with Eddie Murphy. I enjoy the Beverly Hills Cop movie franchise. Plus, I am hoping to get more of the films themselves sometime later. Also had the first film. Plus, I'm still hoping to get the first 2 films of the Beverly Hills Cop film franchise sometime later. Plus, also have the soundtrack itself on vinyl. I have it on soundtrack, of course. Next up, Sex Lies and Videotape, a classic Steven Soderbergh film, of course. So I get this because it was a very good movie, of course. I decided to pick this up because this is a Miramax film, of course. Next up, Pink Floyd, The Delicate Sound of Thunder. Still a classic concert video, of course. And next up, Def Leppard in the Run in Your Face live in concert. Still a classic concert video, of course. I've enjoyed some of their music. Plus also have Pyromania on vinyl, of course. I decided to get this because I enjoyed some of their music. Next up, I got one Looney Tunes disc, which is Sylvester and Tweety's Belle Poitat Plus. Decided to get this because I'm a huge Looney Tunes fan. This is basically a series of cartoons that I grew up watching as a kid. And the next year, basically, I'm gonna replace some copies that I ever got. It's basically because one of these titles had been robbed, unfortunately, and decided to get the replacement copies of the discs themselves. And we got Forrest Gump, still a classic film nonetheless, and still a rewatchable film, of course. I decided to get this because it is a T-check certified copy itself alone. And I got E.T. on Laserdisc. I decided to get the replacement copy because also had this film on Blu-ray as well. Because also had I just picked up the steelbook, the Blu-ray, a 2-disc edition steelbook of E.T. the Extraterrestrial, the Extraterrestrial on Laserdisc. I decided to get this because it's probably one of my favorite movies in my childhood memories, of course. I decided to pick this up. Next up, and the last stick we go onto the box sets, we got John Carpenter's The Thing. Classic John Carpenter film nonetheless. Still a great horror film. Decided to pick this up because it takes place sometime in the winter time, of course. Gotta put these back where they belong, and we're gonna move on to the box sets, of course. Let me move these out of the way. So I get myself a cup of coffee, of course. Just taking my time, folks. And guess what? I got all 3 volumes of the Twilight Zone series, and we got volume 1, of course. The Twilight Zone is still a classic film, nonetheless. Here's the here's the chapter info. I'm gonna have to show very quick. We got Volume 2. Here's the last volume of the Twilight Zone: The Creative Visions box set, of course. Decided to get the entire series on Laserdisc because right now there's no chapter insert, of course. This sucks. And we got Eye on the Prize. This is basically Volume 1. I'm just hoping to get a Volume 2 someday, of course. And that's for the box sets, of course. And thanks for watching for this video, and be sure to stay tuned for part 2 of my Laserdisc VHS update for December 29th, 2018, and it's gonna be my only update for this entire year. And stay tuned for the next part, because I'm going to be showing you some of the VHS tapes that I just picked up just recently, of course. And stay tuned for part 2 for more videos in the near future, of course.